So when you get hired to work Office 365 administration, what's the best way to actually learn it? In my opinion is to come up with a real life scenario that you will encounter when you get hired. So for those reasons, all of my videos are like that. And today is no different. We're going to talk about an example of what happens and what you have to do when somebody new gets hired to work for the company. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobo Man. Thank you so much for joining me again today. We're going to continue our Office 365 videos, and we're going to keep teaching Office 365 in the sense as if you are working for somebody who is using Office 365, and somebody I mean like a company. Let's say you get hired today and they sit you down in front of Microsoft Office 365 Admin Center. They give you access and they're like, okay, you're going to have to work on this because today we have a new employee that we're going to have to grant them access to different parts of Office 365. So we're going to have to set up their account. We're going to create a new account. We're going to give them access to email, to OneDrive, and whatever else they may need. You know, things like access to a shared mailbox for a department that this person got hired in. Okay? All right. So this is very useful. Why? Because it's real use type of scenario, right? It's a real life type of scenario. All right, so we are in Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and we're going to create a user in here. We can do this through Azure Active Directory as well, but that's okay. We're going to start doing it here. Do me a favor before we start in the comment below. Just say hello, hi, or present, just like a roll call in the class. That way I know people are interested and appreciate my content. My content is free, so there you go. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, add a user. We're going to create a brand user, and we're going to name him Johnny Depp. Okay, that's the name of the new user, and this is not the actor. Okay, this is not the actor. The real actor Johnny Depp is with two N's and two P's without the E. So it's not Johnny Depp that you're thinking of. Okay, and here it is. We filled out the first name, last name, and then we got a display name which is automatically populated. But if you want to change this, if Johnny wants to be called John, we can just add in parentheses John. So whenever somebody looks him up, they're going to know that he prefers to be called John. Okay? And then we're going to create a username that is going to be used to log into everything that's Office 365, followed by the email for that company. We don't have to fill out the domain part of it, which is the email part of it, unless you want to select a different one if you are running this on multiple domains. So make sure you have the correct domain selected. You'll have multiple ones sometimes, so just use the drop down arrow here, and it's very simple as that. So we're going to give them a name. We can give them, for example, username, I should say. We can just type in Johnny. You always use lowercase because it's easier to, write. And then we're going to just call him Johnny Depp, right? And if there are multiple Johnny Depps in the company, you can say Johnny Depp 1, Johnny Depp 2, so on and so forth, right? So this is how you do it if there are multiple Johnny Depps within a company. And here we are, we have options to automatically create a password, require this user to change the password when they first sign in. And we're going to leave it this, require the user to change their password when they first sign in. You can leave this here where it says automatically create a password if you want to convey that. I'm personally going to give them a password, which is something simple, something simple that they can do it. So for example, today is Sunday. We're going to type in just Sunday 1 2 3, and I'm going to show you what it is. Capital S, and then it's Sunday 1 2 3, right? So we're going to remember this so we can tell it to the user so they can log in to their Office 365, and then they're going to be required to change the password. So it's okay to give a simple password. So even if I was to go to Azure Active Directory and, for example, set a password over there or change it or reset it, it's going to be something very simple to remember as well. Why? Because it's easier just to convey Sunday 1 2 3 to somebody who's going to change the password right away anyways. All we are doing is just kind of resetting it. Okay, so we're going to click next to keep going, and of course once we make this, we're going to test all of this. There's quite a bit we need to cover, so we're going to keep it going. We're going to log in as Johnny Depp to make sure everything is working. But what I mean by that, we're going to pretend we are Johnny Depp, and we're going to log in to make sure everything's working because it's for educational purposes. Of course, Johnny Depp in this case would have to, check his own access, but we're going to pretend to be him after we're done setting up everything. All right, so here the next part is, location, and, Johnny Depp is United States. If he's in somewhere else, you can select that he is, I don't know, anywhere else in the world, right? I'm going to leave it at United States, and then we assign license. We can see that there's 0 licenses assigned, and we're going to assign him a license that allows him to use, different things. Make sure that you pick a license that allows him to use basic things like Outlook, Excel, Word, all the office type of stuff, Microsoft Office applications. In this case, we're going to use Microsoft 365 A3 for faculty, and this will give him access to all of these apps. And if we want to modify that, we can certainly do so by clicking here, apps, where it says apps, and there are 45 of them available. So if I click that and I select, so if I do a drop down here and I select to see what's within Microsoft 365 A3 for faculty license, so this is the license we've just picked, we can see what all the things he has access to. So if you want to disable all of these other things that he doesn't need, we can certainly just uncheck. For example, this. Does Johnny Depp need Azure Information Protection Premium? Not necessarily, so we can leave this unchecked or checked. Whatever it is that your company gives you instructions to do, right? Typically, you would just leave all of this added in there, and the licenses that you're going to work with are going to be different from the one that I'm using right now. This one kind of gives you access to pretty much everything because it's for educational purposes, but like regular licenses, and they're not going to necessarily have all of these things. But if we want to, for example, give him or remove access from Microsoft Teams, we can uncheck Microsoft Teams. You see right here, and now Johnny's not going to have access to Microsoft Teams unless we go back in and do a check mark again. So anything that you want to disable, you can do so before you go further. I'm going to leave it as it is, so I'm going to click next down here. And then we got, it says here, you can choose what roles you would like to assign to this user and fill additional profile information. So if I expand roles, so what is this? Admin roles gives user permissions to view data and complete tasks in Admin Center. This is something that if they have a specific role, for example, they are part of Office 365 administration, this is where you would make these changes to these roles. And then for that, this is just a regular user, so we're going to leave it at the regular user, no admin access at all. But if they happen to be an admin, you would select Admin Center access and then give them access to specific parts of it. If you just want him to be Teams administrator, we can add this in there, right? And this is not going to remove all the other accesses. This is just additional role access if they are part of Office 365 administration. And there, in this case, Johnny is not, and we're just going to leave it at user because he's just going to be a regular user. All right, next. So I click next, and this is just kind of overview of what we have right now. And we got his display name, which we've modified. He prefers to be called John, so we're going to call him John from now on. And then we've got his email, right? We got his email. We've set the password, which is custom password. We've set their location license, and that's it. He doesn't have any roles. We can add profile information here if we really wanted to, and this might be part of your job. So let's do this. We're going to click edit, and then we're going to select profile information. So we're going to call him, his job title, he got hired to do, I don't know, what is it? I don't know, financial analyst? Let's call him that because he's going to work in finance department. Office, we're going to call it office number, well, let's call it A building. Office number 25. I don't know. Whatever it is that you want to fill out. Office phone number, we can call it 555-55-55555. Is that enough fives? All right. Sorry, I know this is disturbing the flow of the video, but I just need to fill this out to show you. So this is a fake number, obviously. And if you want to add his real number, or mobile number, or fax number, street address. We're going to call it 2356 Sunny Lane. I don't know, city. Let's call it New York. Why not? State NY, New York, and the zip code for New York is, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. And then we can select this country, which is USA. United States. Next. So this is all metadata, right? This is stuff that you're going to add, as in, you want more information, and it does look better, and you want to fill all of this out to make sure that that it's there, right? Because we are adding a brand new person inside the system. I'm going to click finish adding so we can move on and set up other things to make sure they are working. Here's what we have so far. Everything is set up. All we have to do is log in as Johnny after we add couple of more different things that we're going to make sure that he has in order to test it. So first thing we're going to test is Outlook. We're going to log in as him and check email, but there's not going to be any emails. There's not going to be any emails because we're going to add him to a shared mailbox, which for those reasons he will get an email notification that he was added to a shared mailbox for finance department. And we're going to make sure that his Outlook is working that way instead of me going in and sending him a test email. So here is Johnny Depp. Let's kind of see what we have now. If we click on him, he's listed in the system, and we can check certain things that we've already created. And here it is. Here's our display information, his name, his phone number, and that's great, right? Now we can check if he's got devices. He hasn't logged in and anything. He hasn't had any devices enrolled in Intune, which is another part of Office 365. We can talk about that in future videos if it's relevant to your work. And then we got licenses and apps, and here we can see the license that we've added. So this is a quick way of checking this. And if we select a email, it's going to say we're preparing a mailbox for the user. Why? Because Johnny hasn't logged in yet, and we kind of saw this in the previous video. If we check OneDrive, he hasn't logged into OneDrive, and it's going to be similar to this. Ask person to go to Portal OneDrive to log in, and it may take 24 hours before we can go in and see his OneDrive information. What is this used for? If Johnny accidentally deletes something, we can possibly recover. So everything that he creates, his documents, everything that he creates and saves into OneDrive is going to be stored in OneDrive, and from here we can start to recover some of his data if something gets deleted, if he loses some files. Now this is just one place of recovering data. There's another place we can check, and this is under their what they call profiles. This is something in a future video we're going to talk about, recovering data, but there's definitely another way, which is aside from this way to recover data, which actually works better in my opinion. So look forward to that, and make sure you subscribe, like, comment, or whatever else that you can do to help me out with this video. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go to the Exchange. So if I click show all, you can select Exchange. We're going to go in there, and we're going to make sure that he gets access to a shared mailbox for finance department. So we're going to open up Exchange, and we're going to look for him, and he's going to be under, well, he's not going to be there, but his group will be under what is this? Okay, get out of here. Come on, it's doing this because something got updated and they're talking about new layout. Things change in Office 365 is what I'm trying to say. And it's good to refresh on Office 365, even if you know how to use Office 365, because things have changed, things are changing, they're constantly moving, condensing, and this and that, okay? This is why I'm getting those pop-ups, and it's good to kind of refresh on this. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So he needs to be added to a group, right? It's called Finance Department, which is also a group, right? So under recipients here in Exchange and Manage, make sure this is expanded and select groups. So once we select Microsoft 365 here, which is by default selected, we're going to select Finance Group. Okay, we're going to select finance group, and later on I will show you how to create new groups and this and that. This is just to add a new person that's starting. So under general, we just got some basic information, but that's not what we want. We want to add him as a member. So if we select members tab and scroll down, we can see view all and manage members. If we expand that, we can find Johnny in here, or we can simply search for him. So we have to click add members, and he's going to come up. But if you have 1,000 people in there, then you're not going to be able to find them. And then we can just simply type in his name, Johnny Depp. And if we do a search, here he is, right? And we got a cool icon here that says Teams enabled. Well, why is this important to know? That we know that he's got a license to use Teams. That's all that means. But it is an indicator that this group will also give him access to the Teams group, the part of Teams group that is for this finance group. So once I do this, he will also have access to the group, the Teams group for the finance group. I'm sorry, that's kind of hard to say. Anyways, he's going to be able to join finance in their chat functions when it comes to Teams and other things that they can do in Teams. So I've selected him and I clicked add, and now he's added. All right, and that's great. One thing while we're here, so we don't forget, we got distribution list, which is right next to the Microsoft 365 groups. So the next column, we're going to select distribution list, and we're going to add him in there, or make sure that he's added in there. So we're going to check, and here is actual finance distro group. What is a distribution group? It's just an email group. So instead of emailing everybody inside of finance group, or in this case distribution list, then all you have to do is just send email to this email, and everybody that's part of this distribution list, which is an email list, will also get this email. So here it is. We're just going to select it, and again, we're just going to go to members and make sure that he's added in there. And same way that we did with the shared mailbox, we're going to select view and manage all members, and then he's not in there. You see, we're going to add him. We're going to make sure that he's added, and here he is. Again, we can search, or we can just select them. So that way, whenever they send an email to this distribution list, which is email list for this finance department, then he's also going to get an email. Very important. And this email is not going to go into shared mailbox. It's going to go into his actual regular inbox. All right, enough of that. Let's now make sure that everything is working for him. We're going to sign in as him. I just have to go back and make sure I get his email address so I can log in with that. I have not enabled two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, which is called MFA, yet. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to enable it here. What did we say? We said Sunday 123 to log in. So it may come up, it may not. It's definitely going to force us to change the password. That's good. We're changing the password, so the user is also going to be able to change the password. John is going to be able to change the password. And here it is. Microsoft has enabled default security defaults to keep your secure account secure. Now, I've talked about this in previous video as well, and what's going to happen, it's going to force you to use multi-factor authentication within 14 days. It's automatically going to force you to do it. All right. Sometimes this will not come up for users, and you can double check to make sure it is coming up. And we kind of talked about that in a previous video briefly, and we had to go in and enable it because we weren't getting this. But for now, we're going to skip for now, where it says skip for now 14 days until it's required. We're going to do that now because I've talked about multi-factor authentication. Another reason to watch the previous video, because everything is tied in and everything follows into these future videos, including this one. And it's just good to know. So I clicked skip for now just so we can keep moving because I already talked about it. Welcome to your Office 365, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get out of here. Okay, so first thing I wanted to make sure is that his Outlook, here is his Outlook. He should also get a email that I've added him to the shared mailbox. Here is his inbox. Well, maybe it takes time. I'm surprised he didn't get a notification that he got added to the distro. But anyways, here is the email where it says, welcome to the finance group. This is the first thing we've done. All right, now let's add the shared mailbox so that John can respond to the emails that are directed to the finance department. That's the whole point of a shared mailbox, because everybody in that group can reply to the emails that come through for that mailbox, because it's a team effort. So in order to do that, just right click the folder where it says folder here. So again, right above the inbox here, right click the folder right here, and then select add a shared folder. And then we're going to search for it here. We're going to type in finance. And if he's added in there, then it should come up. And here it is. He's added to the distro as well. And here's in the finance group as well. So we're going to add the finance group shared mailbox. That's the first thing we've done. And once we've done that, here it is. We could just have to expand finance group here. And then we can see if there are any emails here. Here it is. Okay, so we've checked all of that. Now let's go back to his account that's within Office 365. Remember, we couldn't see email because it was broken. And here it is. As soon as we logged in for the first time, we can see that his email is now completely configured. So it's good to know that you have to completely log in. User has to log in for the first time in order for you to start managing his email, because there is nothing there to begin with. There's just an account, and once they execute it, it kind of completes that that action. So that way you can do some managing of his email in case it comes up. And here it is. You can do things like read and manage permissions, send as permissions, send on behalf. But this is not something you would worry about when it comes to personal accounts. These manage permissions, this and that. This is usually done for shared mailboxes, and we're going to talk about that in the future as well. There's a lot we can talk about, and there's a lot that we will talk about. It's just that it's going to have to be a part of next video. So let's do OneDrive. Here's OneDrive here, and wow, it actually populated OneDrive as well. I was under the impression that you had to log in into OneDrive as well at the same time before anything shows up. But I guess just logging into the Office 365 will activate all of these things. So kind of a small correction to my statements is that as long as you log in for the first time into the Office 365 with your account, then it's going to create these, it's going to complete OneDrive and mail profiles in order for us, the people that manage these things, can actually manage and do something with that. All right, guys, let me just kind of think here real quick if there is anything else we need to check. We're going to check his OneDrive real quick just to see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. You know what I mean? It's working. I just wanted to see. And let's see if he's part of Teams already. That's what we can test. If he's part of Microsoft Teams. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm logging in as the wrong person. Go back to Teams. Why is it cancel? We want to log in as Johnny. It was trying to log in as one of my previous fictitious users, which was Sally Mo. If you guys watched my first series on Office 365, she was in there. And come on, Johnny, log in. It's being stubborn. Did you see that? It's being stubborn. Get Windows, use the web app. Let's do this. So here he is. He's already added, like I said, he would be. And here he is. He is part of finance group. If he goes in there, you know, he can see some of the conversation. So here is when we tested some of this, and we're going to say something as Johnny. Hello. I am new to finance group. Good to be here. And here it is. Johnny Depp is inside of Teams, and now he can communicate, collaborate, and do things in Microsoft Teams. So that's one. Let's see what else can we check to make sure. SharePoint. Let's see if SharePoint is activated. All of this should be working right now. Close. Here it is. We have to add him into the SharePoint as part of SharePoint group. well, we'll have to double check this because again, things are changing. They're constantly changing things. We're going to definitely test this. We're going to talk about SharePoint specifically in a future video. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, bookmark this, and I have other videos. If you want to watch more, watch the first one. And I want to say 12 more videos that I've created in the previous sessions too. So just go to my channel, youtube.com/Kobuman. Here we go. youtube.com/Kobuman. Okay.
So you want an
And here it is, actually, learning Office 365 for tech support jobs, add user license. You know, a lot of stuff like this. But if you go to playlists, and here it is, Office 365 training. Let's see how many videos we have. We have 13 videos so far for Office 365 training. Okay, here's the last one that I've done, number 13. And you can watch all of these that I've created before. They are similar, but again, I'm making these again because things are changing in Office, as I've stated before. Anyways, so I'm starting anew. So if you want to start from the 13th and go from there, then you'll be set because I'll be making more videos. You can also go to my second channel, which is youtube.com/Kobuman Knowledge Base. So this YouTube channel that I've started has a lot of videos that are actually shorter format. They are knowledge base called because they are shorter, to the point videos that give you quick solutions to things you may need help with when doing tech support. So if you would like to go in and check it out, you can certainly do so. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it. But as you can see, every day, well, not every day, but every other day, you will see another video, a new video. And I also create these special videos for my second channel, which are basically explaining different things to people who are entry-level positions. For example, here's MFA, here is proxy servers explained, here's single sign-on, here's DHCP explained. And the new one that's coming out, it's going to be called, the new one that's going to be in that type of format, which is also very educational. It's going to be talking about sandboxing, what sandboxing means when it comes to IT and IT security. So this is a great channel because it's literally a knowledge base. If you bookmark this and you want to search for things that can help you fix different, issues in IT or computers, you can go to this bookmark, select search, and for example, type in, I don't know, whatever it is. I got a bunch of Office 365 stuff in there as well. So these are quick ones that you can do. So let's say Outlook. And I got, look how many videos I have that have Outlook in them. So there are a lot of things that you can find in here that can help you in your tech support. There's nothing wrong with learning new things and also looking things up, because that's how you learn, right? How else are you going to know something unless you look it up, right? So there's Outlook, and whatever you can think of, you can go in here and search. So eventually this knowledge base is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Right now I already have 100 videos on there, maybe more. All right, guys, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. If you would like to become a member, you can certainly do so. I appreciate it. It's not necessary. This stuff is free, of course. And thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.